Broadcasting live from the WGBB World Headquarters here in New York. This is the Big Fat Joey Show with your host, Big Fat Joey.
Hey, St. Morning, Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio. What's up?
Wow, we're back. It's a Sunday. I can't believe it. Memorial Day has left us. I cannot get over it.
Yeah, wow. What a rainy, crummy, miserable Memorial Day weekend we had last weekend. You know, it finally sunned up out on Monday, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it just went so quick. I can't even believe it. Now we're like another week into June.
Yeah, right. And yesterday was beautiful, and today seems to be turning out to be another beautiful day. Hot, warm, a little sticky. This is what summer's all about.
Well, I'm ready. I'm loving this.
I am too. But this weekend, right, we stayed local yesterday, right? We didn't do our usual hamps thing. You know, we'll be out there this upcoming weekend. But yesterday we hung out in Setauket over by Stony Brook University.
Well, we went to the most yummiest place that I always go every single year, at least once, for Goodness Cakes Company. And it's a food truck, and they have like the most yummiest food. Well, like cake, obviously, but they had a rainbow cannoli. They had cookie dough on a cone, and I definitely got my sugar fix.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a big sugar fix. And they also had a vegan taco / smoothie truck and a pizza truck.
They were both delicious, but I really like the vegan taco. It was really good. And it was with potatoes, and it had a kick of like hot sauce. It was definitely, I mean, for the hot day and having a nice, yummy smoothie, it was great.
Yeah, I got the Snickers smoothie. It was good. Tastes like a Snickers bar, very nutty, what have you. P3 allergic to nuts, so no good luck for him. No tasty taste for him.
Well, at least you got to have it all yourself. But I loved my rainbow cannoli, and it was definitely a good day to stick close to home and something fun.
Yeah, so, you can check them out for Goodness Cakes Company. I guess I should get that straight. And they're always out and about.
Right, every week they're like somewhere else.
Every week they're somewhere else, and you can follow them on Instagram. Let's see here. I can't even read my own handwriting.
It's For Goodness Cakes Company. FOR.
Why do I keep doing 2 O's?
There it is. You just passed it. I
got to learn how to spell. Yeah, so check them out on Instagram. For Goodness Cakes Co. on Instagram. For Goodness Cakes Co. on Instagram. Yeah, then normally, we catch them over at Baiting Hollow?
Yep, and now we go like at least every year. So we got our little fix in.
And are they moving around every weekend, or what's going on?
Every place is someplace different. But this time they had 2 other trucks with them, and it was so yummy.
Yeah, it was definitely check them out, and check out their snacks. Very good, very tasty, and very decadent.
Well, talking about hot weather and stuff, right? And nothing on television, but we're still enjoying below deck sailing.
Below deck sailing yacht. Great show. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bravo TV. Check it out. Today we have Sydney Zaruba from Below Deck Sailing Yacht. She's going to be rocking the boat, spilling some tea on some salt water, and letting us know what really goes on below deck.
Well, I love the show. It's fast moving. They're always in a beautiful location, and it's been getting a little hot and steamy each episode.
Yeah, so you have to check them out. But first and foremost, check out our interview today, obviously, with Sydney Zaruba from Below Deck Sailing Yacht, one of Bravo TV's hit franchise series.
And who else do you have?
We have good friend of the Big Fat Joey Show on the line with us today. We have Josh Aryeh, also known as Batman Real Account. Josh has made it his life's mission to put smiles on the faces of children who are unfortunately ill. And you know what, here in the interview, not just children, primarily children, but he'll come out with his friends in their exotic cars and visit anyone in need who's a little bit down and out. So he's on the show today, and you definitely need to follow him on Instagram at Batman Real Account, and his website, www.smilesthroughcars.com. And he has such gracious sponsors. Please give them a follow on Instagram as well. We have at ASAP_water_LLC and at American Dream. And we all know what that is. The American Dream Mall in New Jersey. Just a hop, skip, and a jump on the other side of New York City.
Well, it's just amazing how he takes time out of his day to put a smile on some children or, like you said, adults that are going through some hard times, be it cancer or some severe illness. But it's very nice of him, and it's nice to like pay things forward. So
yes, and also on Instagram, follow at Smiles Through Cars. You know what? Yeah, Josh, he's making his life mission to put smiles on the faces of people who are down and out. And, you know, he doesn't do it alone. He's got a lot of friends who come out there with their luxury exotic cars, Lambos, Ferraris, Porsches, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, souped up cars, you name them. And I'm not saying he's rolling out with one or two cars. You know, he generally shows up to someone's house with at least 5, 10, 15 cars. You know, he's gotten as many as, 70 cars to roll up to visit someone, be it in the hospital, be it at home. So definitely check out his interview, and also check out his website, smilesthroughcars.com, to read all about what he does and to donate to his organization. All right, everyone. Without any further ado, up next is our interview with Sydney Zaruba from Below Deck Sailing Yacht. All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line Below Deck Sailing Yacht's very own Sydney Zaruba. Sydney, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Beautiful. Enjoying the soon-to-be summer here in New York. I understand you're in Spain, where it's beautiful.
Yes, it's lovely here.
I wish we were there. It's here in New York. I know you're an East Coast girl down from Florida, but up here in New York, it takes a little longer for that warm weather to get to us. By the time it gets to us, it feels like zip, zip. It's already fall.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sydney, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you got into yachting, and more specifically, how you got on Below Deck Sailing Yacht?
Yeah, I grew up sailing. Yeah, for sure. I grew up sailing. Have been on a boat since I was born. My parents lived on a boat at that time and have just been sailing my entire life. Worked at my family's charter yacht and then was hired on by Captain Glenn this year. Or last year, rather, I guess.
And how was that? Were you shocked? What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I would be a super yacht kind of girl, but here I am, still working.
Hi, it's Cynthia. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How is it filming during the pandemic?
Filming during the pandemic adds an extra layer of anxiety and stress to everyone's lives, but definitely makes things a bit more interesting than a normal season would go.
Now, speaking of normal seasons, I know there was a lot of interaction amongst the crew. How does that affect the charters when the crew sometimes has disagreements? Who's dating who's upset with who? How does that work?
I've always been the type of girl to really be able to separate my personal life and my work. Working with your family, you kind of have to do that. So for me, pretty easy. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else in the crew, though.
Is the crew generally chill with one another? Everything is pretty decent. There's no hard feelings on what's been happening so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody, TV makes everything seem a bit more dramatic than it really is, of course. But yeah, all the crew's pretty much still on good terms.
Well, that's great to hear, because you know what? It looks like you have a lot of fun, but we know those on any of those yachts, you work very, very hard. And, I've always had boats with motors in them or what have you, and it's hard enough getting that. And I'm not talking about, you're on a yacht, 80, 90 feet long. I'm talking about a little 20-foot boat. It's hard enough to maneuver that around here in the bay on Long Island. And I just give everyone super duper credit who runs and works on a sailing boat, because you're at the mercy of the wind. The wind tells you what it wants to do and what happens. And, as we saw on this past week's episode, right, you had a power failure. There was wind. There was, unfortunately, a couple of bumps into the dock. How was that? How did that go down? What was that all about on the boat?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously that's like the least ideal situation. You never want to, wreck the boat. But I think that, the way the crew and captain and engineering departments, I think the way we all handled it was very professional. We did the best we could in that sort of situation. And, it's obviously never what you want to happen. But when things like that do go wrong, I'm glad that we had, one of the best teams that I could have possibly asked for to deal with it.
Are you all cross-trained a little bit? Do you all know how to do each other's job? I mean, I know engineering job is a big to do, but do you all get a little bit of cross-training saying, okay, if the engineer's not here, this is the minimum we need you to be able to do, if, turn on some generators or, put the bilge pump on, or does everyone kind of just know what they do?
I mean, if you've been in the industry long enough, you sort of know a little bit about everything, because that's kind of how it goes. You pick up slack in other departments when, somebody goes missing, somebody gets hurt, somebody's out of commission, you kind of have to pick up the slack in other places. So, I mean, if you've been in it long enough, you know how to start a generator, oh, there's an oil machine on the water, something's going wrong. Even the stewardesses, you probably have the least amount of cross training. Even they know, certain alarms, they know who to go and get, or, what to do in, the event of an emergency. Everybody's got their kind of muster station, and, you do your best to keep the boat safe. That's your number one priority. You're on the water. You're there to make the guests have a good time, but, priority number one is to, keep the boat safe.
Right. Keep the boat, everyone safe, right?
So how mad was Captain Glenn when the power went down and he hit the dock? Was it really everyone's this is really serious?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty bad day at the office.
That's true. That's true. It's like a rosé day afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, besides that, in your personal, in your life, has there ever been another scary moment like that? Maybe on your personal boat or other yachts where things have just gone wrong, and it was a matter of life and death and damage to vehicles and docks.
No, I mean, of course, if you've been in the industry long enough, you see some things happen. But thankfully, I'm what we call a fair weather sailor. I'm not going to go out if it's going to be crazy conditions. So that's how you stay safe. You set sail when the weather is right for it. You don't go out in crazy conditions.
And that's a smart thing. I'm a first responder.
I've seen some pretty gnarly stuff out on the water, but thankfully, nothing with me.
Yes, no, and I'm a first responder here where I live on Long Island, and I'm on the rescue boat here for our local fire department. And unfortunately, some of these crazy storms, we always know we're going to inevitably get a phone call that someone's out in the waves in a 20-foot boat. Well, meanwhile, there's 40 knot winds coming out of the south, and we're like, oh, we got to get out there. And luckily, good report to local police and Coast Guard, obviously. But yes, it's if anyone listening, if it looks dangerous out, please don't go out on your boat, whatever it is. Just stay on the dock and just look at the ocean. There's always another day to go sailing or boating.
Yep, of course.
What's something that you learned from Captain Glenn and that you take away with you?
I think just Captain Glenn's very laid back. He incites authority and respect without being an overbearing captain. I think that's a really important quality to have in a leader.
Yeah, he seems very chill. Even when they showed it on, obviously in last week's episode when the boat hit the docks. I mean, he was mad, but
he was calm.
He was calmly mad, I guess, if that's a phrase.
Yeah, definitely. Super, super chill, and that's the thing, you don't want people to be, if there's something bad happening, you don't want people screaming and yelling. That's not going to help anything.
What's one thing you learned on Below Deck Selling Yacht that, surprised you? Is, oh, this is how the industry works. Something that you didn't think, this is how it goes.
I think probably the biggest thing that I learned, just the level of standards probably for everything. I knew it was a higher standard, but I didn't, just the detail and everything was quite shocking, and definitely something that I've taken into the rest of my life.
Okay.
And what was your favorite charter, be it in your personal life or with your, in different boat or on the season? Do you have a favorite charter? Do you like when the ladies come on or when the guys come on? What makes a fun charter?
I love an all-girls group. I think
Okay.
those are my favorite. I love bachelorette parties. They're so fun.
And why? Is it the ladies that are like, they let loose? Are they more fun?
I just think, I love a group of girls that get on and are besties.
Well, you know what? I watching all the different iterations of Below Deck, you definitely see a lot of different charter guests with a lot of different personalities, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. And you're all cooped up on this, even though it's a yacht, it's big, but in reality, it's small. Everyone's cooped up.
Not big enough.
Exactly. Not enough room.
And how do you speaking of not big enough, the confinement, the cabins, how does that work for you? Does that bother you, or you're like, it is what it is?
Yeah, you kind of get used to it after a while, but it's definitely a tough thing to get adjusted to, without a doubt.
I see Jean-Luc, and I know he's tall. I think he's what, 6'9" or something like that.
Right on time.
Yeah, he's a giant. He's like 1.5 feet taller than me.
I mean, I can feel for him. I'm 6'7", so I don't fit in normal places to begin with, and I see him on them, like, I can feel for that guy. I know what it's like to bang your head, and it really messes up your day.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt.
Now, Sydney, are you ready to play everyone's favorite radio game, This or That with Sin?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Sydney, here we go. 50 Shades of Grey or Sex in the City?
Sex and the City.
Top bunk or bottom bunk?
Bottom.
Mermaid or unicorn?
Mermaid, definitely.
Love triangle or Bermuda Triangle?
Bermuda Triangle.
Ice cream or snow cones?
Ooh, snow cones.
And lastly, watermelon sugar or cake by the ocean?
Watermelon sugar.
All right. Thank you, Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of cake by the ocean, I see on a lot of charters people like to eat on the local islands. You guys have to lug all that food over there. Any crazy stories about that? I mean, I see how the food comes on the boat and how it goes off the boat. What's it like when during service?
Service gets a bit hectic, but I think my favorite story is me and Natasha and Danny literally just being so over the beach picnic. We put literally everything from the beach picnic in the tender, and we're all laying across it as I'm driving the tender back because we're so sick of dealing with the beach picnic.
Right, and it's just like everything. It's just like every other picnic. There's always something left behind. Like, someone's got to go back and get that now.
Yeah, well, we avoided that. The last 3 girls, we packed it all in there. We were like, we're done.
What's your favorite food to eat on the yacht or in general?
I love a good oyster, I think.
And you probably get fed so well, too, because the food looked so good. Natasha's, plating was beautiful.
Yeah, Natasha is one of the most fantastic chefs I've ever seen.
It looked everything looked delicious.
What's been your favorite locale so far to visit?
I'm partial to Italy. I've called Italy home for a while.
Nice.
Love Italy and love Italian food and Italian wine, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Florida girl at heart. I've traveled pretty extensively. Love Morocco. Anywhere with nice warm waters and a good scenery, I'm down.
Now, out of all the places you've been, what's the most crazy food you've had, or the most exotic food that you've never had before and you might not have again? You're like, that's all right.
There's some pretty interesting food in South America. Ecuador and Peru had some pretty interesting street food that I have tried and probably tried and won't try again. Not too big on the guinea pig, but it wasn't bad. It's just a bit weird for me, culturally wise. I was not so sure about that. But yeah, I haven't traveled to, anywhere in Asia yet, but I know they have some pretty crazy food cultures compared to what we have. So I'd be interested to try it and then say I've tried it. No further than that.
Well, if you ever come to New York, trust me, there's a lot of strange street meat in the five boroughs. So if you,
I've tried some of that New York street meat. I'm not too sure about that either.
yes, no, it is very suspicious to say the least. But good sometimes. But good. You put enough sauce on it, anything's good.
Yeah, exactly. Some ketchup, you'll be good.
Now, Sydney, how can my audience find, follow, and keep up with everything Sydney Zaruba and Below Deck Sailing Yacht?
You can find me on Instagram at Sydney_Zaruba. That's probably the best place to connect with me. That's my main go-to platform for social.
Well, that sounds great. Sydney Zaruba, Below Deck Sailing Yacht.
Sydney Zaruba. Yeah.
Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. It's been a pleasure. I wish you nothing but luck, success, and the wind at your back at all times.
Thank you. Fair winds and following seas, my friend.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sydney. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ahoy there, matey.
Wow, I love the show. I love how it's heating up. I want some more juice, but it was definitely good. I felt like we need more tea.
We need more tea or a little more salt water spilled, but you know what? You catch up with the episodes Monday nights, Bravo TV, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sydney, was such a fun interview, and once again, played everyone's favorite radio game, This or That with Sin.
Yes, woo-woo! It was fun. We had a good time.
Definitely had a good time. If you haven't caught it, I don't know where you are, what rock you're living under, because it's one of the hottest shows on TV, but definitely the whole Below Deck franchise. Check them out and check out Sydney Zaruba on Below Deck Sailing Yacht on Bravo TV. All right, everyone. Up next is my interview with one of the most generous people I know, Josh Aryeh, A.K.A. Batman Real Account. All right, everyone. On the line with us today is founder of Smiles Through Cars, Josh Aryeh, also known as Batman. Josh, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you. What you're doing, your mission in life is just super mind-boggling. I can't believe something that has started so small and innocent in visiting sick children and sick people with some of your friends and even some people that you've become friends with who have exotic cars has turned into a monumental world movement. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Smiles Through Cars?
Yes, definitely. So I'm a 34-year-old entrepreneur. I live in New York, and I grew up with a passion for exotic and hypercars. Although I wasn't able to afford them, it was something that I hoped I was able to do one day. And through some life-changing events, which we could talk about later on, I actually ended up changing course from wanting to be Bruce Wayne to ending up to becoming Batman. And through my Instagram account and other social media platforms, I've really built quite a team for my nonprofit organization of a couple hundred people that come out with their cars or costumes to really be a part of this movement that we started. So it's been amazing. From what started off as a one-time kind deed, ended up becoming my greatest passion in life.
And how did that come to be? You know, we all, you know, I like to think myself and other people, we've all done kind deeds for other people and even strangers. We've gone out of our way. As my audience knows, I'm a volunteer fireman. So, you know, I go out and about and, you know, help the neighborhood as best I can with the skills I have. But how did this become something that is going on day in and day out and now expanding throughout the United States and hopefully through the world?
Yeah, sure. So it started off, like I said, just as a simple passion. And as I got a little bit older, when I was in my late teen years, I started becoming friends with people that own these exotic cars that would let me borrow them, either in the beginning just to do errands and stuff for them and eventually be able to take it home. And I had an idea. I said the same way that I grew up loving these exotic cars, there had to be some sick and underprivileged children that had that same want or wish as I did. And I started calling up all different nonprofits and people I knew saying, hey, you know, I don't own them, but I have access to almost any exotic car. If ever you have a kid that makes a wish to go in it, let me know. And one day I got a call back that there was an 8-year-old girl who was battling stage 4 cancer, and her dream was to go into a Lamborghini. And I was able to call up someone in Greenock, and I borrowed the Lamborghini. And this was the moment to change my entire life. Like, until this moment, I wanted to be Bruce Wayne, not Batman. And that really stemmed from the fact that when I was younger, I was bullied by children in my neighborhood because I didn't grow up wealthy, but I grew up in a wealthy area. And there were children that would kind of make fun of me and, pick on me and all that for not having the things that they had. And it kind of made me want to have the things that they had and so much more to kind of prove to them that I was better. And then after having this impact on the child, this changed my entire life. And they bring out this 8-year-old girl. She's in this wheelchair. She's looking down at the ground. She's all sad, and she looks up and sees this bright yellow convertible Lamborghini parked in front of her house. And you see this entire child's face lights up, the biggest smile I've ever seen. And I put top down and drove around for 15, 20 minutes to get her back in the car. To get her back in the wheelchair and then bring her into the house. And as soon as she gets into the house, the mother starts hysterically crying, nonstop. And this was the first time I truly had a one-on-one interaction with a child that was that sick. So I looked at the mother. I said, look, if I did something or said something offensive, I didn't mean it. I thought maybe somehow I was insensitive without even noticing. And she goes, no. She goes, you don't understand. She says, my daughter was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 4. She's had over 20 surgeries. She got an infection which caused her to become paralyzed, which is why she's in a wheelchair. She said, this is the first time I've seen my daughter smile in 4 years since she was diagnosed with cancer. And for me at that moment, I said, if I could have such an impact in someone's life with such a stupid thing, I'm still a car enthusiast, but at the end of the day, it's just a car.
Right.
And I said, if I could have such an impact, I said, I don't know how, but I want to dedicate my life to volunteering. I said, this is what I'm meant to be, right? No matter what happened in my past, it didn't really matter anymore. And I started just doing this a little bit more often. And as social media grew, the demand grew and my network of all this grew. And eventually we started the nonprofit Smiles Through Cars. And now this way people could actually volunteer for a nonprofit rather than just a guy with a big heart. And that's kind of where we are. Now we have hundreds of volunteers. Between New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Florida, California, Las Vegas. And now, like you said, I kind of want to spread it out throughout the United States and then eventually go global. I want to impact more than 1 million families.
And you're out there doing what you do. And that's what I love about the use of a car. I don't care where you're from, who you are. I think most people in general enjoy driving in a fancy, one-of-a-kind car, a Lamborghini, a Porsche, a Rolls Royce. And I know through some of your friends, and we have some mutual friends, they have these exotic cars, and everyone is more than happy to donate their time to come out with you and go see numerous children who are in need of a smile. That's what I find exciting about it.
Yeah, sure. I have that same feeling every time someone wants to, volunteer and says, look, I have whatever car it is, or I have a costume and, I really want to be a part of this mission. It's truly, I'm 100%. And every single time I'm wow, I love seeing that people from all over want to give back and want to be a part of it. And, we've even had people that literally donated a Lamborghini and a Rolls Royce. A guy I met about a year ago, who owns a company. It's called ASAP Restoration. It's a restoration company based in Long Island. And someone made an introduction, one of my friends who's a volunteer. And she said, you have to meet this guy. He has these cars. He's such a good person. And I met him and he saw what we were doing. And he said, look, it's always been my dream to have these kinds of cars, but it's also been my dream to be a part of a mission like this. And, my heart is where the kids are. And he literally wrote out a check and donated a Rolls-Royce Wraith and the Lamborghini Aventador to be used for the children. And I was just blown away by someone that would do something like that. I was it's one thing to bring your car.
Right.
It's another thing to donate money and say, I want you to buy a car, buy a Batmobile for the kid, put Batman decals on it. And both of them are black and the same thing. It's in the quote unquote Batman theme. Because he said, when you're going out to a kid, one car is amazing. But imagine if you had 5 Batman type cars showing up at one time.
Right.
That it's just that wow factor. And unfortunately, for a lot of the children we go to, it's their final wish.
Right.
So to be there, how can you put a price tag on a final wish for a child, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, 10-year-old, whatever age it is, for a parent to be there and see their child smiling for the last time in their life. There's no amount of money in the world you can put on that. Like, it's priceless. And that's kind of what we're achieving by doing this with the cars and the mission and all that. And I realize the impact that it's able to have, not just for that moment, but the memories that the parents and the families get to continue having by seeing the children or child acting like a quote unquote normal, healthy child for a change. And that's really what I try to do. I can't cure their illness, but if I could help them forget about the illness and just feel like a normal child without any of the pain and illness and all that for even a moment, it's worth everything. And that's kind of what my whole mission is about. It's being the light during the darkest times in their life, during despair. And that's what it's about. And that's why it's a team effort, because I was great on my own for the last decade or more than a decade.
Right.
But I'm even stronger and better with all the volunteers and team members that are really a part of the mission, because I'm only one person. So with them, I could reach 1 million families. To do it on your own would be very, very, very tough.
And you said something very poignant, and going with the Batman theme, you are really the bat signal in their darkest hours to illuminate the sky and give them an opportunity to smile and be that child that they haven't been able to be since they got ill, and put that smile not only on their face, but their families' faces, their friends' faces. So there's just one more memento in that child's short life that the family can hold on to and treasure when the child is unfortunately no longer with them.
Exactly. And there are times where we've been fortunate enough to be a part of their quote unquote final wish, where, we were there for them and we fulfilled that wish. And the doctor said, we're going to discharge the child from the hospital to put them on hospice care. And, they'll give them a couple of weeks left to live. And there was one, there's a lot of them, but, there's one in particular who was about a 7-year-old girl, and the doctor gave her a really, really short period of time to live. And she was home on that hospice care. We fulfilled her final wishes, and we could fast forward 2 years later where we are now. She's 100% cancer free. The cancer disappeared.
That's a beautiful thing.
And to be a part of these moments and see that, be there for that quote unquote final wish, and seeing how appreciative they are, and literally sitting with the family and planning out the child's funeral. Like, they were expecting her to pass away in the near future. Like, we literally sat with the parent and the child and planned the funeral for her with the child. And now she's 100% cancer free. It's gone.
See, now those are the stories I like to hear when the doctor's wrong. Like, all right, that's a good time the doctor's finally wrong, as opposed to, when they're wrong other times. And how's that young girl doing today?
She's great. I just saw her. Obviously I don't see her too often right now because of the pandemic. But
right.
We speak FaceTime and stuff, and she was over last summer for a pool party. ASAP Restoration, again, sponsored a pool party and barbecue and everything for the children. So it was invite only, socially distanced, the whole deal. But she was there, and she had a great time. And it really made me happy to see her going in and swimming and not having all the needles and ports and everything in her body. Like, it was such an amazing thing to see that. It's like, thank God I'm able to be here, be a part of this, to see those moments where it's just like, there are no words,
Now, I also see, and I follow you on Instagram. I also see that, and you just had it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, if I'm correct, a big gathering at the Dream Mall in New Jersey. How did that come to be?
Yeah, so back in about 2015, I met Don Garmazian. He is the CEO of the American Dream Mall, which is in New Jersey, and he's also partners in the 555 Group, which owns the mall. And someone made an introduction at a charity event. He said, "Look, this is Josh Aryeh. He is Batman. This is what he does, and this is Don Garmazian." And he kind of told me about what Don does and everything. And Don is an amazing person. He's got a heart of gold. And immediately he heard about what I was doing, and he said, "Look, here's my cell phone number. Here's my house address. Here's my, literally code to my garage. Here's the code to the alarm. Anytime you want, come here and take my car. Like, and if you don't, I'm going to be mad at you. Like, that's literally what he said to me. He goes, I want you. And since then, every month I've gone to his house and taken a car for at least like a week, sometimes 2 weeks at a time, and just taken a car to visit the kids. And then we partnered as well to be able to use the mall. So he owns the Mall of America out in Minnesota, the West Edmonton Mall, which is in Canada, and the American Dream, which is in New Jersey by the Meadowlands. And these malls aren't just shopping centers. Like, inside the mall, it has an indoor water park, indoor amusement park, indoor skiing, indoor ice skating, and tons more. And they'll literally shut the mall to the public. And only the children and the families can come and use it for free. And just have like the experience of a lifetime. And it's truly something that only celebrities get to do, right? You hear about like Justin Bieber and all these people that, do something romantic and they'll rent out the theater or whatever they're going to, and be able to do it for their wife or their girlfriend or whoever it's being done for. But, quote unquote, regular people, non-celebrities, don't get to do these things unless you're super, super, super affluent. So to have someone like that, he says, look, I want to partner with you and be able to do these things. I mean, it's amazing to have people that have such a heart of gold and truly want to give back. I said, Don Gervais in 555 at ASCP Restoration, people like that don't just say, look, I want to come and be there and do this. It's anything you need, I'm there for. And that's a real support, because it's priceless for the children to be able to give them such an experience. I always wish, if people say, what's your dream? I would love to be famous, because I see the way celebrities have that impact. You see a celebrity walking into a hospital and all of a sudden everybody's smiling. And I'm like, if I was a celebrity, I mean, I'm already in hospitals pretty much every day of my life anyway, but I would just do it and be able to have so much more of an impact, right? Imagine if Justin Bieber or whoever, any celebrity, choose whoever it is, any musician, artist, movie star, or whatever you want to call them, walk into a hospital and do it twice a week, every week, the impact that they could have. So I don't want to be a celebrity in terms of that, but in terms of having that recognition to be able to have a larger impact, that's I wish I would be able to do that. Just to walk down the street, all of a sudden everyone's smiling. I get that result when I'm in my costume and the Batmobile. But when I'm just me, I don't get that. And I wish there was a way we could get celebrities and other people like that more involved, even once a month, to be able to do that for these kids that are truly struggling, and enable them to really just meet their superhero, the guy they've always dreamt of meeting, or the girl, or whoever. It'd be a beautiful thing. So there's certain things I'm still trying to incorporate into what we're doing. But where we are right now, it's amazing. But, I'm always trying to think of that next step, something else we could be doing to make it even more memorable, more special for the children and their families. And that's kind of the way that I look at it every day.
Well, you know what? You are a celebrity in the children's lives. You are a celebrity in their eyes. Even though you're not Brad Pitt or George Clooney, when they see you, and you know what? Kids love cartoons. Kids love Batman. Kids love the superheroes. To them, you are their Brad Pitt. You are their George Clooney. You are what me and you as adults would see as, a little starstruck. Like, oh, hey, there's George Clooney coming in the elevator. You're the Batman. You're the bat signal. You're the one, like I said before, who lights up their life. So, you know what? I am sure with what you're doing, you're a smart guy. You've been able to bring in all of these other gentlemen who have been more than gracious in supporting you. It's a matter of time before one, two, a handful of celebrities are going to catch up with you and say, hey, you know what? I heard your interview, or I like what you're doing. I can do this at least once a month for you. I can roll into a hospital where where they live, California, Florida, New York, New Jersey, wherever they happen to reside, Philadelphia. And I'm sure that is just moments away before, we chat again, or I see you on Instagram with George Clooney or Brad Pitt or someone of that nature.
Yeah, I hope so, and I believe it. The only way to find out is to keep working towards it. That's why I kind of view this like a business. Even though I'm not profiting from it, all the money goes back to the children. But at the same time, I've been told by a lot of people, you have to think of it like that so that you could continue to improve it, figure out ways, like a business that you have. The only way to continue growing is to figure out new ideas and innovating, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really what I try to do with every event that we're doing for the children. So yeah, I definitely agree. And, thank God people are happy when they see Batman and I am the face of the organization, but it's truly the team members that are a part of this, because it really is a team effort right now, especially the fact that we're in so many different states. I would not be able to do this. There's no way I would be where I am now without the help and support of the team. And there's a lot of team members, and they know who they are, but there's really so many people behind the scenes that do so much to enable me to be successful with what we're trying to do. And that's why I just wanted to, make it clear, even though I'm the face of it, but I'm the face for the entire team, because it's truly a team effort. Like a company, they're only as strong as the entire team. You might have a great CEO, but without the employees, he can't do as much. It's just not physically possible. And that's kind of where we are. So I'm super grateful for all the other, quote unquote celebrities that are here to help me make the children happy.
And you know what? Looking through your Instagram, looking at the photos, any photo I see, and once again, the photo can only capture so much. I count at least 5 to 10, sometimes upwards of 15 cars that come out. So yeah, you have a great team of people that are volunteering their time out of their day. And these are all, everyone works, if it's the day off or not the day off, what have you, everyone is carving out a bit of their time to visit. And you're not just staying, when I say local, you're not just staying on one spot on Long Island. You're visiting children wherever, Montauk to Manhattan, the 5 boroughs, what have you. So it's not that, you're getting people from out east, and you're getting people to come, ride with you from, Suffolk County, Nassau County, the 5 boroughs. So no, a hats off to everyone for taking time out of their days to come visit with children in need. And that's the great part of it, because as you said, no one's making any money off of this. This is a nonprofit. You're just the face of it, and you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, and as everyone else is as well.
Yeah, and we even did a surprise about a month ago. Unfortunately, for a 5-year-old boy who's battling cancer, who's terminal, and his final wish was to go into an exotic car. Just want to see a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, something of that sort. And I called up a lot of the volunteers, and so I went there to surprise the child, and I went up first, and I saw the kid, and the parents and all of them were super appreciative. They couldn't believe I brought the car for him, and then I quickly called my friends who were all there hiding without the family knowing, and I had about 70, literally 70
wow.
exotic cars show up at the same time for this one child as his final wish, who unfortunately his funeral is this Saturday. He did pass away.
My condolences.
He just passed away, but
God bless.
That was his literally his final wish. And his mom said he was smiling and laughing and jumping, and for that hour or so that we were outside the hospital, he was acting like a normal child. Like he was living his moment. He literally went in every Lamborghini and Ferrari and Bentley and Rolls Royce and revved the engines and took pictures. And guys normally wouldn't eat in the car. He was standing on the seats and jumping, and everyone was happy. Nobody cared, because this kid was on cloud 9, and we achieved the goal. And that's all it was. We gave that family a priceless moment for them to remember their beautiful, precious little son, Hugo. I'll stay with the first name. And for them to be able to see that, and for us to be a part of that, right? For us to be there and share in that moment with them, it was worth everything to be there and for us to have that memory. And it was unfortunately the only time I ever met them, but to be there for them and see that, it's to be a part of that final wish, to know that we were able to grant it. It's worth everything in the world. There's nothing in the world I'd rather be doing at that moment than just that. So,
and you know what? You said, you went to see Hugo at the hospital. As all these cars, all these exotics pull up, 70 of them, as you said, 70.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you were working with Hugo and his family, but I'm sure all of the other patients that you put a smile on their face, those who, looked out the windows, who happened to be on the grounds of the hospital. So that one event, even though it was for that one young man, I'm sure affected tens, maybe hundreds of people in that hospital who got to see cars and put a smile on the face. It's very akin to when, you see them bring the therapy dogs in. Everyone loves to see a dog, even people who aren't necessarily pet people. When you're ill and something like that, and you see a dog coming in, wagging its tail, tongue hanging out, everyone gets excited with that. Even though that dog might not have come to see you, but you saw him in the hallway, you saw him walk by your room, and for that brief moment, I'm sure you put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces.
Yep. Yeah, thank God we did. And, that's what we try to do every single time, just create that endless ripple effect. And that's all we're trying to do, create that movement around the world.
Now, let me ask you, how do you keep your spirits up? I mean, just listening to you and some of these stories, Big Fat Joey only sheds a tear when I see someone throw good food out. I'm like, no, that's just a sin. You can't throw that meatball out. That still has, that's still edible. Give it to me. But it's very emotional. How do you keep your spirits going? Because day after day, it's not like you're visiting people who just had a baby. Like, this is a happy occasion. Hey, we'll take rides in the car, take pictures. You're visiting people, at their lowest.
Right. So I think part of it, it's a couple of parts of this. Part of it is obviously, the fact that I went through being bullied when I was younger. Second part of it was, I did have a younger sibling that unfortunately randomly got sick and she passed away within 7 days.
Oh my God.
I know what that was like to be in the hospital and seeing the hardships and the struggles and literally sitting bedside with the family, praying for a miracle and praying for that person to feel better. And mine was only 7 days, but
my
there are people that do
condolences.
this for, hundreds. Yeah, no, thank you. And there are people that do this for hundreds of days and years and praying by their child or sibling or, someone's bedside.
Friend, your loved one.
Thank God. Yeah, and thank God, like my family is very close. Thank God I do have older siblings and I have parents, and so we get along. But there's a lot of families that don't, so they don't have the support that I had.
Right.
So I always try to keep in mind, the fact that I would be the light in their times of darkness. And the third thing that I do, and I speak about this openly, is that I go to therapy. I see a therapist at least once a week. And just because of all the sadness that I see, I mean, thank God there are some amazing times.
Right.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of sadness as well. And it's not easy to see a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever the age is, someone in a bed crying in pain, screaming in pain, dying of cancer or whatever the illness is. Like, no matter how many times I've done it, it kills you. It tears you apart to see that. So I'm a big advocate of mental health and saying, look, there's nothing wrong with going to a therapist and talking once a week, twice a week, however many times it is. Like, people are very proud to go to a gym, right? Everyone talks about going to the gym, working on their six-pack and getting in shape. And I view going to a therapist as the same thing. And I talk about this openly on my social media platforms as well, because I truly believe it makes a big, big difference. It takes time, right? Like, same thing, like going to a gym. You don't get a six-pack and muscles and all that overnight. It takes time. So, but if you're willing to go and you open up and you get things off your chest, it makes you feel a lot better. And I see the results, and that's why I'm a big advocate. I talk about it openly now, saying, look, if you're struggling, you're going through a tough time, and you don't have to talk about it. If you don't want to publicize it, that's fine. But maybe just try to do it, and see if that helps you and do that. So that's something I do as well to help me with that is, seeing somebody and talking about the tough times and what I see to be able to, get that out of my system and be able to move on and do it again for the next family in need.
And you know what? I just read an article within the past week or two about mental health. And, in this pandemic time, people are locked up in their homes. The socialization of the world is almost non-existent. You're only really socializing with the people you live with, and even for those who live by themselves. But they were saying, you use the gym example. People don't have a problem saying, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm going to the gym, or I'm a recovering alcoholic, or I'm recovering from a drug addiction. Everyone, and they should be proud. My whole point is everyone should be proud to talk about, but unfortunately, the mental health aspect of people's self-help is not yet out there in the forefront. There's still a stigma about talking about saying, hey, you know what? I've had some issues and I'm seeing a therapist. People don't talk that way about that. They'll talk about their other accomplishments in life, which is great, which they should. And I applaud them for doing that, and I'm all for it. We just need the people who seek out assistance with their mental health issues to be for lack of a better word, proud of it and say, listen, this is what I'm doing to help myself, to make, to keep myself going and make myself a better person. There should not be a stigma on it because, hey, listen, we all have things we go through in life, and I'm no professional by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd venture to say, it's helpful, and people, should research for that help and go out and get it. They should contact the local social worker, or therapist, or psychologist, and be open about it, like yourself.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I agree, and that's why I started talking about it openly, because I'm hoping to reach somebody, right? Even if I affect one person and get them to do it, I mean, it's worth everything.
Right.
So.
No, it definitely is. Now, what else do you have planned for us? We talked about trying to get celebrities. So what else do you have planned with Smiles Through Cars? What's your next step? What are you looking to do next?
Yeah, so we just recently opened up our West Coast division. So we have someone, her name is Aviva David. She lives in Las Vegas, and we have people in California, and we're kind of expanding to other areas as well. And like I said, our ultimate goal is to impact the lives of more than 1 million families. So, we have to do it slowly and properly, but I want this to be global. I don't want it to be U.S. based. We kind of want this throughout the entire world and truly make a difference, because it just started off as a random act of kindness. But that ripple effect that has, and the impact that we have for the children, the families, and like you said, the bystanders and everyone else involved, I mean, it's an endless ripple effect. And if we could really do that, to multiply that, that's really how we want to do it, is unroll this throughout worldwide and just have chapters everywhere to really just make a difference in the lives during the times of despair.
No, and that's great, because you know what? This needs to be global, because there are children everywhere in the world that can use a smile. And you know what? I'll throw in adults as well. Everyone can use a smile, and like I said, I'm an animal lover. Anytime I see someone with a dog or something of that nature, I definitely it puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, and we go to adults as well, right? If there's someone that's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, I mean, we'll be there as well. We primarily focus on children, but we visit adults too. We don't discriminate. Everyone deserves to smile. So we're there. If we get a call, we're there.
Well, that's great. Now, Josh, how can my audience support your supporters? How can they support ASAP Restoration and Dream Mall, American Dream Mall?
I mean, malls are definitely worth checking out. They're a fun place to be, and not even because they support me. It's an amazing experience. They built such a beautiful mall. Everyone that's gone there has come out and said, oh my God, they really go over the top. So by that, to support them, I mean, go to their mall in Minnesota, called the Mall of America, the American Dream in New Jersey, and then the West Edmonton Mall in Canada. Definitely check them out. If you have questions, they could DM me on Instagram and ask questions that I could try to help them. And ASAP Restoration, they're based in Hewlett, New York, and they do fire and flood restoration and remediation. They're an amazing, amazing company, not just because they're sponsors, but I've gotten to really know the owners of the partners involved in the company, and seeing how they operate. I've gone to job sites with them and actually seen them do the work. And I've actually referred a couple of people to them as well. So I know firsthand how they actually do it. They're amazing. And in terms of supporting the organization, I guess if you want to be a volunteer and get involved, you could go onto our website, which is smilesthroughcars.com, and fill out a form. We also are adding, as of next week, we're going to have a form on there to refer a smile. So if you know of a child in need or someone in need that's struggling, battling cancer or a certain illness, you could actually put their information in, and we could reach out to the family and see if they would like us to do a visit. Or you could do some sort of a contribution, donation through the website as well. So any of those would be amazing.
Well, Josh, that sounds great. And the mall, I've been there. I know friends who've been there. I have friends who've been to the American Dream Mall. It is spectacular. It is crazy, especially the skiing inside of it. And it's been a long time coming. I know that mall has been under construction, I'm guessing, at least 10, 15 years. And it's great that it's come to fruition. And they've done a beautiful job with it. Yes, everyone, you need to get out to the mall. You need to check it out. It's over in New Jersey. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. The American Dream Mall. It's right on the other side, from beautiful New York City. And oddly enough, back in the day when I was in college, I worked for a restoration company doing cleanups from fires and floods. So I know the work they do at ASAP Restoration. It's not easy work. It's smelly and it's time consuming.
Yep.
Well, Josh, thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but luck and success, and more importantly, smiles. And I'd love to speak with you soon.
Amen. Thank you. Same here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being on. Have yourself a great day, and send up the bat signal and keep the children smiling.
Thank you so much. Will do.
Isn't it great what him and all his friends are doing?
It's just amazing. Like I said, just to take time out of your day that is like so jam-packed that everyone's running around from work, coming home, making dinner, whatever, but he blocks out that time and like really gives his time to people that are in need. It's wonderful.
Yes, definitely. And all his friends, they come out and they, volunteer their time and their day to put smiles on people's faces. And you know what? It's one of those things, you see Josh, young man driving these fancy cars, but as you heard in my interview, he's had heartache in his life. His sister passed away at a young age through an illness. That being sick only for 7 days. So where everything you see other people. It's not always greener on the other side.
But it's good to give back, and that's what he does.
Right. It's definitely good to give back. But just remember, everybody, everyone's going through something. Even though on the face of it, everything might look hunky-dory, but everyone has had some heartache in their lives. But you know what? I'm glad Josh is able to turn that around and show the world what generosity can do to put a smile on people's face and lift their spirits.
I agree 100%.
Definitely give him a follow once again at Batman Real account on Instagram. Also, smilesthroughcars.com, as well as his other Instagram handle, Smiles Through Cars. And then once again, his sponsors at ASAP_water_LLC and at American Dream. All right, everyone. Well, you know what? Tick tock, that clock keeps a ticking away, Sin.
Yep, here we go. Another weekend.
Another weekend wrapping. What are we doing this afternoon? What are we doing?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We still have some time.
And I got some stuff around the house to do. I got to water the plants. I know that much. Got to get them out. It's getting hot out. All of a sudden, the plant's going to want to have some water. All right, everyone. Well, this is Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio here with Sin. Reminding everyone to
make every sandwich count. Peace.